The dark side of Earth's moon housed a secret. Hidden beneath the gray dust and rock was Base Artemis, a vast complex of tunnels, labs, and command centers where 500 of Earth's brightest minds worked day and night. For 30 years, they had been listening to the stars. Admiral Robert Jones walked through the main control room, his steps slow and steady. At 62, his hair had gone fully white, but his blue eyes remained sharp. The large screens on the walls showed star maps, data streams, and alien ship movements. All of this information came from probes and listening posts that Earth had secretly placed throughout nearby star systems. "What's the status on the Vray fleet?" Jones asked. Lisa Chen, the head of alien communications, looked up from her screen. "They've changed course, sir. They're heading to the Proxima Centauri system, our closest neighbor." Jones frowned. The Vray were bad news. In the decade since Earth had started monitoring galactic communications, they had learned that the Vray conquered developing worlds and used their people as workers or soldiers. They took resources and left planets broken. Time estimate until they reach our solar system? "At their current speed, 3 months, Chen replied. Jones nodded and moved to the center of the room where a holographic display showed Earth's hidden fleet. 150 warships stayed cloaked in the asteroid belt. Another 150 orbited Earth, hidden by technology that bent light around them. No alien scanning system had ever detected them. Earth had been building these ships for decades. While the public knew about the small official space program with its handful of old-style rockets and space stations, the real program operated in secret. The world's governments had united behind closed doors after receiving the first alien signals. They knew that in space the weak did not survive. "Admiral, you should see this," called out Tech Officer Marcus Brown. "We just intercepted a new communication from the Galactic Council." Jones walked over to Marcus's station. The Galactic Council was a group of 57 advanced alien species that made rules for space travel, trade, and war. Earth had learned their languages years ago but had never sent a single message back. "Play it," Jones ordered. The screen showed 2 aliens. One had blue skin and 4 arms. The other looked like a tall insect with compound eyes. They spoke in clicks and humming sounds, but the base computers translated. "The Vray claim they have detected unusual energy readings from the 3rd planet in the system," said the blue alien. "Another developing world for them to harvest?" asked the insect. "Likely so. The reports show only basic space technology. A primitive station orbiting their planet, chemical rockets. The usual early stage. The Vray will find easy pickings there." "Has anyone warned them?" The blue alien made a sound like laughter. "Why would we? One more client species for the Vray means they bother the rest of us less. Besides, the rules are clear. No interference with developing worlds until they achieve faster-than-light travel on their own." The recording ended, and the room fell silent. "They know the Vray are coming for us," Chen said quietly. "And they won't help." Jones wasn't surprised. After years of listening, Earth had learned that the galaxy wasn't a friendly place. Advanced species either conquered others or ignored their suffering. The strong took what they wanted. The weak served or died. That was why Earth had decided to appear weak while growing strong in secret. "Send word to the President and the Joint Chiefs," Jones said. "The time for hiding is almost over." 3 days later, Admiral Jones stood in the White House Situation Room. The walls were lined with screens showing the faces of world leaders. President Maria Garcia sat at the head of the table, her expression grave. "The Vray will reach our system in less than 3 months," Jones explained. "They believe we are an easy target. A normal developing world with basic rockets and no real defenses." "What do they want?" asked the British Prime Minister. "Based on their past actions, they'll demand our surrender. They'll take our resources, establish bases on Earth, and put humans to work in their factories and mines. Those who resist will be killed as examples." The German Chancellor leaned forward. "But we are not defenseless." "No," Jones agreed. "We are not." He pressed a button, and the center of the table lit up with a hologram showing Earth's true military strength. The hidden ships, The weapon systems that could destroy entire fleets. The shield technology that could protect the planet from bombardment. For 50 years we've been building, Jones said, while letting them think we were just taking our first steps into space. Can we win against them? President Garcia asked. Jones nodded. The Vray are sending 12 ships. It's what they consider overwhelming force against a primitive world. We have 300 ships with better technology. We won't just win, we'll shock them. And after? Asked the Indian Prime Minister. Once we reveal ourselves, the rest of the galaxy will know about us. That's the real question, Jones said. Once we show what we can do, everything changes. We can't hide anymore. President Garcia stood up, looking at each screen. We've prepared for this day. We've built our forces while appearing weak. We've studied their languages, their technology, their politics. We know more about them than they know about themselves. She paused, her dark eyes intense. Humanity has always adapted to survive. When faced with stronger opponents, we've used our minds to gain advantage. That's what we've done here on a global scale. The galaxy thinks we're primitive. They think we're easy prey. She smiled, but there was no warmth in it. It's time to show them how wrong they are. On the base of Earth's moon, final preparations moved forward. Captain James Miller walked through the hangar where his ship, the UES Deception, waited. It was small, built to look like Earth's most advanced official spacecraft. Its weapons were hidden, its real engines disguised. From the outside, it appeared to be a simple exploration vessel, but appearances were deceiving. Miller's job was important. When the Vray arrived, he would be Earth's first contact. He would play the part of a surprised, frightened human facing advanced aliens for the first time. He would beg. He would act confused. He would stall. And then, when the moment was right, Earth would spring its trap. Going over the plan again, Captain? Asked his second-in-command, Lisa Chen, who had transferred from communications to join the mission. Miller nodded. The Vray have followed this pattern on 23 other worlds. They arrive, they make demands, they give the natives time to panic and surrender. They never expect real resistance. But we'll give them more than they expect, Chen said. Much more. Miller looked at the ship. The Deception is well named. For years, Earth has been the quiet kid in class, watching the bullies, learning their weaknesses, preparing. Now it's time to show them we've been holding back. In the depths of space, the Vray fleet moved steadily toward the Sol system. They had done this many times before. Find a developing world, take what they need, add another species to their empire. They had no idea that this time would be different. They had no idea that Earth had been watching, waiting, and preparing. They had no idea that humanity was about to change the galaxy forever. The 12 Vray ships entered the solar system with confidence. Their dark metal hulls absorbed light rather than reflected it, making them look like moving shadows against the stars. Each ship was 5 times larger than the biggest spacecraft humans had ever officially built. On the bridge of the lead ship, General Drack studied the blue planet on his view screen. He was tall, with gray skin and eyes that glowed yellow in the dim light of the bridge. 3 rows of small spines ran from the top of his head down to his neck, rising slightly as he considered his prey. Another primitive world, he said to his second-in-command, Officer Mael. Scan for their defenses. Mael touched controls on his panel, detecting a small space station in orbit, several satellites, a handful of primitive chemical rockets. No energy weapons, no shields. He paused. There is a small vessel approaching from their moon, 1 ship only. Drack's mouth parts formed what passed for a smile among his kind. They're sending a welcome party. How polite. Should we destroy it as a demonstration? Mael asked. This was standard Vray procedure, show strength immediately to prevent any thoughts of resistance. No, Drack decided. Let's communicate first. I want to see the fear in their eyes when they realize what's happening. It makes the victory sweeter. Aboard the UES Deception, Captain James Miller received the alert that the Vray fleet had entered the system. His small crew of 20 had trained for this moment for years. Each knew their role in the carefully planned deception. They've spotted us, reported Lisa Chen from the sensor station. They're scanning our ship. Miller nodded. Let them see exactly what we want them to. See? Everyone remember we're surprised, frightened explorers who have never met aliens before. He straightened his uniform, deliberately designed to look like a civilian scientific outfit rather than military, and gave the order. Open a channel when they contact us. Let's give the performance of our lives. He didn't have to wait long. The main screen on the bridge flickered and showed the alien face of General Drac. The Vray's yellow eyes studied the humans with cold interest. Miller had seen images of the Vray from intercepted transmissions, but he pretended to be shocked. He stepped back, eyes wide with convincing fear. What? Who are you? He stammered. Drac spoke in his own language, but the deception's hidden translation systems worked perfectly. The alien's words came through clearly. I am General Drac of the Vray Expansion Fleet. Your world is now under our protection. Miller exchanged worried glances with his crew, all playing their parts perfectly. We don't understand. We're just a research vessel from Earth. We've never encountered other intelligent life before. Your ignorance is not surprising, Drac said. Your species is young, undeveloped. We have come to guide you. Guide us? Miller asked, letting his voice shake slightly. Your world has resources we require. Your people have skills we can use. Submit to Vray authority and many of you will survive to serve the greater good. Miller made a show of growing panic. This is a peaceful mission. We need to contact our leaders on Earth. Please, give us time to understand what's happening. Drac's spines rose higher, a sign of amusement. You have 6 of your Earth hours to inform your leaders. We will then begin our approach to your planet. Any resistance will be met with immediate destruction. The communication ended, leaving the bridge in silence. Lisa Chen looked up from her console, dropping the scared act now that the aliens couldn't see them. They bought it completely. Their scans never penetrated our hull disguise. Miller nodded, his fake fear replaced by determination. Send the signal to Admiral Jones. The Vray have made their threat. Now we spring our trap. On Earth's moon, Admiral Jones received the message from the deception. Everything was proceeding as expected. The Vray had threatened Earth exactly as they had done to other developing worlds. Jones opened a secure channel to President Garcia and the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Madam President, the Vray have made contact and issued their ultimatum. Captain Miller is playing his role perfectly. They suspect nothing. President Garcia nodded on the screen. Then it's time. Activate the fleet. Jones turned to his command, staff in the moon base. Send the wake-up codes to all ships. Full combat readiness. Weapons hot, but stay cloaked until my command. Throughout the solar system, Earth's hidden warships powered up their systems. In the asteroid belt, 150 ships activated their engines, but remained invisible behind their cloaking technology. In Earth orbit, another 150 did the same. These were not the simple rockets the world showed to the public. These were advanced warships with technology Earth had developed in secret over decades. Studying alien communications had given humans insights they might not have discovered for centuries otherwise. Jones watched on the large display as his ships moved into position, surrounding the Vray fleet in a 3-dimensional net. The aliens remained completely unaware. Now we wait, Jones said. Let them think their threats have us scrambling in fear. 5 hours after their ultimatum, the Vray fleet began moving toward Earth. They arranged their 12 ships in attack formation, ready to demonstrate their power against any pathetic resistance the primitives might attempt. On the deception, Miller watched them approach. They're in position, he said to his crew. Send the coded signal to Base Artemis. Chen pressed a sequence on her console. Signal sent, Captain. Miller nodded and opened a channel to the Vray flagship. General Drac's face appeared on the screen. Once more. General, Miller said, still playing the frightened human. Our world leaders need more time. Please, we've never faced a situation like this. Drac's yellow eyes narrowed. Time is over. Your world will submit or burn. We will destroy one of your cities as demonstration of Miller interrupted him, dropping the act completely. His voice became steady and confident. Actually, General, I think there's been a misunderstanding. Drac paused, confused by the sudden change. You see, Miller continued, Earth isn't the primitive world you think it is. We've been listening to your communications for decades. We know all about the Vray and how you prey on developing civilizations. What is this? Drac growled, his spines now fully raised in anger. Miller smiled. A demonstration of our own. He nodded to Chen, who sent the second coded signal. Across the solar system, 300 Earth warships dropped their cloaking fields at once. In an instant, the 12 Vray ships found themselves completely surrounded. Earth vessels appeared everywhere, above, below, on all sides. On the bridge of his flagship, General Drac stared in disbelief at his sensor screens. Impossible, he hissed. Where did these ships come from? They were always here, Miller replied, calmly. We just didn't want anyone to know about them. You see, General, Earth decided long ago that when we finally met alien life, we'd be prepared. We've been holding back, watching and learning. But not anymore. Jones's voice came through, on an open channel to all Vray ships. This is Admiral Robert Jones of Earth's Unified Space Command. Your ships are targeted by weapons that can disable or destroy you in seconds. Stand down immediately. For the first time in his long career of conquest, General Drac felt fear. He had led many fleet actions against developing worlds, but he had never walked into a trap like this. You're bluffing, he said, but his voice lacked conviction. A demonstration, then, Jones replied. From the Earth ships, precisely targeted electromagnetic pulses hit the Vray vessels. Ship after ship lost power, their weapons and engines going dead in space. In 30 seconds, the entire Vray fleet floated, helpless among the stars. Miller looked directly at General Drac, whose ship was the only one left partially functional, so communications could continue. Earth has been holding back, General, Miller said. Not anymore. Remember that when you report back to your superiors. News traveled fast in the galaxy, even across vast distances. The Vray defeat spread from system to system through communication channels, trading posts, and diplomatic missions. A previously unknown species had not only resisted the Vray, but had defeated an entire fleet without destroying a single ship. In the great domed hall of the Galactic Council on the neutral world of Nexus, representatives from 57 species gathered in emergency session. The circular chamber hummed with worried conversations in dozens of languages. The central platform stood empty, waiting for the day's speakers. Toral, the blue-skinned, four-armed representative of the Mezar Confederation, took his place at the main council table. As the current head of the council, he called the meeting to order. We face an unprecedented situation, Toral announced, his voice amplified throughout the chamber. A world that we classified as developing has revealed advanced technology and military capability beyond their expected level. They call themselves humans from the planet Earth. The insect-like Zith representative clicked her mandibles. How did they advance so quickly without detection? Our monitoring systems should have noticed. They deceived us deliberately, replied Toral. For at least 50 of their years, they have been intercepting our communications, learning our languages and building their forces in secret while showing us only primitive technology. The chamber erupted in alarmed chatter. The idea that a young species could hide their true development was disturbing to many. Grell, the reptilian representative of the Vray, rose to speak. His scales were dark with anger. These humans disabled our ships without warning. They committed an act of war against the Vray Empire. We demand the right to respond with full force. Toral fixed all four of his eyes on Grell. According to General Drac's own report, your fleet entered their system and threatened their planet with destruction if they did not submit to Vray rule. I believe many here would consider that the first act of war. Murmurs of agreement spread through the chamber. Many species had suffered from Vray expansion over the centuries. The real question, said the crystalline representative of the ancient lumen, is what these humans plan to do next. If they have been watching us for decades, learning our weaknesses, building weapons in secret, Are they preparing for conquest? Toril nodded. We have received a message from Earth. They are sending a representative. Dr. Anna Williams will address this council in person. The announcement caused another wave of concerned discussion. An unknown species with advanced technology was about to enter the heart of galactic politics. Dr. Anna Williams stood alone in her quarters aboard the Earth ship Diplomat. At 55, she had spent half her life studying alien languages and cultures. Her brown hair was streaked with gray, and the lines around her eyes showed years of dedicated work. Now she would be the first human to officially speak to the galaxy. The Diplomat was approaching the Nexus system under escort by 6 ships from the Galactic Council's security force. Through the window, Williams could see the gleaming ring stations and the colorful ships of many species moving about. Dr. Williams, came the voice of Captain Thomas over the intercom. We're 30 minutes from docking at Nexus Station. Council security has approved your shuttle's approach path. Thank you, Captain, she replied. Is the data package ready? Yes, Doctor. All the information you requested is loaded on your secure tablet. Admiral Jones sent a final message for you as well. Williams picked up her tablet and read Jones's message. Remember, we're not apologizing for protecting ourselves. We're offering a new relationship, but on equal terms. She took a deep breath. Decades of listening to alien communications had given Earth valuable insights, but direct conversation would be different. The future of humanity might depend on what happened in the next few hours. The council chamber fell silent as Dr. Williams walked to the central platform. She wore a simple blue suit, designed to be dignified without mimicking any specific alien style. She carried only her tablet, no weapons or other devices. Council sensors had scanned her thoroughly, finding only a standard human with no cybernetic enhancements or hidden technology. This seemed to surprise many of the representatives who had expected humans to be more alien. Distinguished representatives, Williams began, her voice calm and clear. I am Dr. Anna Williams of Earth. I come to explain our actions and to open honest communication with the galactic community. The Vray representative hissed. Your kind ambushed our ships. You pretended to be primitive while building weapons. Williams turned toward him, unruffled by the outburst. Your ships entered our system and threatened our world with destruction if we did not surrender. Based on Vray history with other developing worlds, we knew exactly what that meant. She touched her tablet, and images appeared in the air above. The platform. They showed planets stripped of resources, populations enslaved, cultures destroyed. For decades we watched how the Vray and others treated developing worlds. Williams continued. We saw the suffering of the Neth, the Belis, the Terran, and many others. We decided that would not be Earth's fate. The Lumen representatives' crystalline form glittered as they spoke. But why the deception? Why not announce yourselves to the galaxy when you achieved space travel? Williams displayed new images, records of alien communications Earth had intercepted over the years, conversations about managing younger species, debates about resource rights on inhabited worlds, discussions of acceptable losses when dealing with primitive populations. We observed how this council operates, Williams said. The rules claim to protect developing worlds, but in practice, they protect the interests of established powers. Had we revealed our true progress, we would have faced restrictions, embargoes, or worse. Uncomfortable silence fell across the chamber. Many representatives could not deny the truth of her words. Earth does not seek war, Williams continued. We want peaceful exchange of ideas, fair trade, and mutual respect. But we will not be threatened, controlled, or exploited. We hid our development because we needed time to ensure we could protect ourselves. Toril leaned forward. And now? What does Earth want from the galactic community? Recognition as equals, Williams answered. Not as a developing world to be guided or managed, but as a full partner in galactic affairs. We bring new ideas, fresh perspectives, and yes, technologies that many here might find valuable. Technologies you developed by spying on us, objected the Zith representative. Williams shook her head. We learned your languages by listening, yes, but our technologies are our own. In many areas, we took different paths than your civilizations. We can offer innovations that might benefit all species. She touched her tablet again, displaying schematics for clean energy systems, medical techniques, and environmental restoration methods, but notably no weapons technology. Consider this carefully, Williams said. Earth can be a valuable ally or a determined opponent. We prefer friendship, but we will not accept domination. Your civilizations have operated under certain assumptions for millennia. We represent something new. As she finished speaking, a signal came from Earth. On cue, the diplomat activated a demonstration of human technology. A protective energy field surrounded the ship, unlike any shielding system known to the Council races. It glowed with a blue light that was both beautiful and clearly powerful. The message was clear. Earth would not be intimidated by threats or shows of force. The choice is yours, Williams concluded. Continue as you have been, treating younger species as resources to be exploited, and Earth will stand apart, even against you if necessary. Or embrace true cooperation, and together we can build something better than either of us could alone. She stepped back from the platform as the Council erupted in a mix of outrage, fear, and, from some representatives, thoughtful consideration. The ripples from Earth's revelation were just beginning to spread across the galaxy. Change was coming, whether the old powers wanted it or not. Captain James Miller stood on the bridge of his new ship, the UES Prometheus. The vessel was no longer hiding its true capabilities. Its sleek hull gleamed under the light of an unfamiliar sun. This was Miller's third mission since Earth had revealed itself to the galaxy, and perhaps the most important. Approaching Charis orbit, Captain, reported his pilot, Sam Reed. Local authorities are demanding we identify ourselves. Miller nodded. Open a channel. The main screen showed the face of a Vray officer, his scales dark with suspicion. Earth vessel, you are not authorized to approach Charis. This is a restricted mining world under Vray protection. Leave immediately or face consequences. Miller smiled. We received a distress call from the Neth people. We're here to answer it. The Vray officer's yellow eyes widened. The Neth are our workers. They have no right to call for outside help. This violates Council regulations on client relationships. Those regulations changed last week, Miller replied calmly. Perhaps you missed the Council's update. The Emergency Relief Act now allows any species to request assistance if they face resource shortages or unsafe conditions. This was true. Dr. Williams had worked tirelessly in the Galactic Council to push through new protections for client species, the Council's polite term for enslaved worlds. The Vray officer sputtered. The Neth are perfectly safe under our guidance. They need no outside interference. Then you won't mind if we verify that directly, Miller said. We'll be landing at the main settlement in 30 minutes. Before the Vray could respond, Miller signaled to cut the transmission. Lisa Chen, now serving as his second-in-command, looked up from her console. Captain, they're powering up orbital defense platforms. As expected, Miller replied. Shield status? Full power. Their weapons can't touch us. Miller turned to the rest of his bridge crew. Remember, we're not here to fight. We're here to show the Neth people that they have options. That's how we change the galaxy. One world at a time. The landing area. Outside the main Neth settlement was filled with curious onlookers. The Neth were thin beings with gray skin that had a slight blue tint. Years of working in the Vray's harsh mining operations had left many with breathing problems and bent postures. As Miller and his team stepped out of their shuttle, they found themselves surrounded by Vray guards, their weapons pointed at the humans. A Vray administrator pushed through the crowd. You have no authority here. Return to your ship immediately. Miller ignored him, looking past the guards to the gathered Neth. People of Charis, I am Captain James Miller of Earth. We received your call for help. An elderly Neth stepped forward despite the guards' warnings. I sent the message, he said in a raspy voice. I am Elder Tem. We heard about Earth standing. Up to the Vray! We heard about your new technologies, the Vray administrator hissed. This is sedition! Guards, take the Elder into custody. Miller stepped between them. Touch him, and you'll find out exactly what happened to your fleet in the Sol system. The guards hesitated. Stories of Earth's technology had spread quickly. Miller turned back to Elder Tim. We brought something to show you. He nodded to his team, who wheeled forward several large containers. These are matter converters. They can transform raw materials into food, medicine, building supplies, almost anything you need. He opened one container, revealing a machine about the size of a small desk. A crew member activated it and the device hummed softly. Miller placed a handful of common rock into a compartment. The machine processed it for a few seconds, then a drawer opened on the other side containing medical supplies. The Neth gasped in astonishment. With these devices you can create what you need without destructive mining, Miller explained. No more dangerous conditions, no more sickness from toxic exposures. Elder Tim touched the supplies with trembling hands. The Vray tell us we must mine or starve, that we have no choice. There are always choices, Miller said. He turned to face the Vray administrator. The galaxy is changing. Earth is offering partnerships based on mutual benefit, not exploitation. The Neth can remain under your protection if they choose, or they can join what we're calling the Human Coalition. The administrator's scales darkened further. This is illegal interference. The Council will hear of this. The Council already knows, Miller replied. Earth ships are visiting dozens of worlds like this one. Dr. Williams is presenting our evidence of mistreatment to the full Council as we speak. He turned back to the gathered Neth. We won't force our help on you. Unlike others, we believe in free choice. But know this, if you choose independence, Earth will stand with you. Similar scenes played out across the galaxy as Earth ships visited world after world. On the agricultural planet Belen, Captain Olivia Ramirez provided shield generators to protect the native Bell people from the atmospheric harvesters that stole their world's moisture for off-world corporations. On Taren, Commander David Jackson delivered medical supplies to a population suffering from industrial pollution caused by Zith factories. Each world they visited became part of what news networks across the galaxy began calling the Human Coalition, a growing alliance of formerly subjugated species now standing together with Earth's protection and technology. In his command center on the moon base, Admiral Jones watched the coalition grow on the large strategic display. Dozens of worlds now showed the blue marker of alliance with Earth, spread across 3 spiral arms of the galaxy. We're changing the balance of power, he told his officers during their daily briefing. The predatory species have never faced organized resistance from their prey before. His aide, Major Wilson, looked troubled. Some council members are calling it an Earth empire. They say we're just replacing one form of control with another. Jones shook his head. Each world in the coalition makes its own decisions. We provide technology and protection, not orders. That's the difference they don't understand yet. He pointed to several red markers on the display. These systems have begun building up their military forces, the Vray, the Zith, and 3 other major powers. They're not used to being challenged. Are we heading toward war, sir? Wilson asked. We're trying to prevent one, Jones replied. For centuries, the strong have dominated the weak in this galaxy. We're showing there's another way. But yes, it's a dangerous time. Some species would rather fight than change. He turned as Dr. Williams appeared on the main communication screen, directly from the council chambers on Nexus. Admiral, the council session just ended, she reported. Our evidence was overwhelming. They voted to establish an investigation into treatment of client worlds. That's progress, Jones noted. Williams nodded. Small steps. Meanwhile, I've been approached privately by representatives from 15 mid-level powers. They're impressed by what we've done and interested in technology exchanges. Not just the oppressed worlds, but others are seeing the benefits of our approach, Jones said thoughtfully. The galaxy is reorganizing itself, Admiral. For millennia, power here has been based on age, size, and willingness to use force. We're showing them a different model. Jones studied the strategic display again. Earth stood at the center of a growing network of allies and partners. What had begun as self-defense was becoming something much larger, a fundamental challenge to how the galaxy operated. "Keep pushing, Doctor," he said. "Not for Earth's dominance, but for a better system for all species." The ripples from Earth's revelation were becoming waves, changing the galaxy one world at a time. One standard galactic year after Earth's dramatic reveal, representatives from over 200 worlds gathered at Earth's new orbital diplomatic station. The massive ring structure, named Unity Station, rotated slowly against the backdrop of the blue planet below. The main conference hall was designed to accommodate beings of all sizes and environmental needs. Some delegates floated in special tanks of liquid. Others required breathing apparatus. A few were digital consciousnesses projected into robotic forms. But all had come for the same historic purpose: the signing of the Earth Accords. Admiral Robert Jones stood near the large windows, watching as shuttles continued to arrive from ships of various designs. At 63, he had seen his life's work come to fruition. Earth had not only protected itself but had changed the galaxy. Dr. Anna Williams joined him, data tablet in hand as always. "The Galactic Council representatives have just docked," she informed him, "including, surprisingly, the Vray delegation." Jones raised an eyebrow. "The Vray? I didn't expect them to attend, let alone sign." "They've lost too much already," Williams explained. 12 former client worlds have joined our coalition. Their economy is struggling. They need this agreement more than they want to admit. Jones nodded, then noticed a familiar face approaching them through the crowd. It was General Drack, now wearing the formal robes of a Vray diplomat rather than military armor. The change in his status reflected the changing times. "Admiral Jones," Drack said with a slight bow of his head. "Dr. Williams." "General," Jones replied. "Or should I say Ambassador now?" "Ambassador, yes," Drack confirmed. "Times change. Positions change." His yellow eyes showed a complex mix of emotions. "I was the first to witness Earth's true power. It seems fitting I should be here at this new beginning." "Your government supports the Accords, then?" Williams asked. Drack's spines rose slightly in what humans now knew was a gesture of resignation. "The Vray Empire has existed for 10,000 years by adapting when necessary. This is necessary." He looked directly at Jones. "Your people could have destroyed my fleet that day. Instead, you disabled our ships and let us return home. Many of my kind still resist this change, but others see the wisdom in it." Jones offered, a small smile. "Sometimes the strongest position isn't the one with the most weapons, but the one with the most friends." Drack made a sound that might have been a laugh. "A very human perspective. We will see if it stands the test of time." The Vray ambassador moved away to join his delegation, and Williams checked her tablet. "It's almost time. The ceremony begins in 10 minutes. Jones took a deep breath. "Let's make history, then." The signing ceremony was broadcast to worlds across the galaxy. Captain James Miller watched from the bridge of the Prometheus, currently in orbit around Karus. Elder Tem and other Neth leaders had gathered on the ship to witness the event. On the agricultural world of Belen, Captain Olivia Ramirez and the Bell people watched together in a field protected by Earth's shield technology. The air clean and moist for the first time in generations. Similar scenes played out on dozens of worlds as formerly oppressed species celebrated a new era. At Unity Station, Dr. Williams took the central position at the podium. Behind her, Earth was visible through the large windows, a symbol of the changes sweeping the galaxy. "Representatives of the galaxy," she began, "we gather today to establish new principles for our shared future. The Earth Accords are built on ideas that may seem revolutionary to some, but which we believe are essential for true progress." She activated a display showing the key points of the agreement. All sentient species have the right to self-determination, technology sharing with ethical oversight, protection for developing worlds, respect for sovereignty, regardless of advancement level, environmental preservation standards, peaceful resolution of disputes. For too long, This galaxy has operated on the principle that might makes right, Williams continued. The strong have taken what they wanted from the weak. Advanced civilizations have exploited developing worlds for resources and labor. She looked across the gathered delegates. Earth's approach, development without exploitation, strength without conquest, offers another path. We believe that cooperation brings greater benefits than domination, that diverse perspectives lead to better solutions, and that all species deserve the chance to reach their full potential. The Lumen representative, whose crystalline form sparkled under the hall's lights, spoke next. As one of the oldest civilizations in the galaxy, we have seen empires rise and fall. The approach Earth proposes is unprecedented. Many doubted it could work. But the evidence of the past year speaks for itself. The data displayed behind Williams changed to show economic growth charts. Worlds in the human coalition had seen remarkable improvements in quality of life, technological development, and environmental recovery. By lifting up former client worlds rather than exploiting them, the Lumen continued, Earth has created partners rather than subjects. The results benefit everyone, even former dominant powers who join this new system. One by one, representatives came forward to sign the accords. The Mezar, the Lumen, dozens of formerly oppressed species, and even some former exploiters like the Vray. Each signature represented a commitment to the new principles. After the ceremony, Jones found himself alone with Williams on an observation deck looking down at Earth. When we decided to hide our true capabilities all those years ago, Jones said quietly, I never imagined it would end like this. Williams smiled. We warned them we were holding back, not just our technology, but our potential to change everything. They didn't listen then. They're listening now. Jones nodded. What's next for the galaxy, do you think? Growth, change. Williams leaned against the railing. The Vray and others are already reforming their economies to function without exploitation. Former client worlds are developing their own unique technologies, now that they're free to pursue their own paths. And there are still unexplored regions of the galaxy, species we haven't met yet. She looked up at the stars visible beyond Earth's atmosphere. For the first time in galactic history, development and cooperation are becoming more valued than conquest and subjugation. It won't be perfect. There will be challenges. But it's a better path. And Earth's role in all this? Jones asked. Leaders for now, Williams replied. Teachers, perhaps. Eventually just one member of a more balanced community. She turned to him. The best leaders work to make themselves unnecessary. Jones smiled at that. A very human perspective. Yes, Williams agreed. And that's exactly what the galaxy needed. Throughout the inhabited worlds, people of all species watched the signing ceremony. On some planets, there was celebration in the streets. On others, ruling powers watched with concern as their old ways of life began to change. But everywhere, the message was clear. The galaxy would never be the same. A new order was rising, one based not on age or military might but on cooperation and mutual benefit. Humanity had revealed not just their hidden technology, but their vision for a different kind of galactic community. And despite centuries of conflict and exploitation, species across the stars were beginning to see the wisdom in it. Earth had warned the galaxy they were holding back. Now, unleashed at last, they were helping to build something new, something better, among the stars. Captain James stared at the monitoring screen, fighting back a yawn. Another quiet day in the Deep Space Communication Center of United Earth Command. The large room hummed with the soft sounds of machines and quiet talk between workers. 20 years in the Terran Defense Force, and most days still felt the same, watching, waiting, and wondering if anything interesting would ever happen. Earth sat alone in the galaxy, marked as a Class 12 death world by the Galactic Coalition. Most alien species stayed far away. They feared Earth's extreme weather, dangerous animals, and most of all, the tough humans who had evolved there. Humans could survive conditions that would kill most aliens in minutes. This made other species nervous. James sipped his coffee, now cold after sitting forgotten for the past hour. His screen showed the usual traffic, cargo ships moving between human colonies, routine check-ins from patrol vessels, and automated beacons from the outer warning system. "Sir," called Sam, a young communications officer with bright eyes that hadn't yet dulled from years of routine. "I'm picking up something strange." James walked over, glad for any break in the monotony. "What have you got?" "It's coming from the Pleiades cluster, not a human signal." Sam's fingers moved quickly across the controls. "It's using an old coalition emergency frequency." James felt a jolt of adrenaline. The Pleiades cluster was home to the Stellar Concord, one of the few alien civilizations that occasionally traded with humans, though always at a careful distance. "Put it through," James ordered, standing straighter. The main screen flickered and a face appeared. The alien had pale blue skin that seemed to glow slightly, with large black eyes that took up most of its face. James recognized the species. Oh, Luminar from the Stellar Concord, a peaceful race known for their scientific achievements and strict nonviolence beliefs. "This is Envoy Trell of the Stellar Concord research vessel Harmony. We request immediate assistance." The alien's voice shook slightly. "Our ship has been captured by Void Marauders. They have taken our crew hostage and threatened to sell us into servitude." James felt his blood run cold. The Void Marauders were infamous pirates who preyed on soft species from comfortable worlds. They avoided human ships, knowing that tangling with Deathworlders usually ended badly for them. "We are scientists and diplomats. We have no defense capabilities," the alien continued. "Our captors plan to reach their base in 3 of your Earth days. We beg for intervention." The envoy paused, then added with emphasis, "We specifically request nonviolent resolution if possible. Our beliefs forbid causing harm to others, even in our defense." The signal cut out, replaced by coordinates and technical data about the Marauder vessel. James immediately hit the emergency alert button. Within minutes, the command center filled with senior officers, including Admiral Walker, Earth's top military commander. Walker was a tall woman with gray hair cut short and a face marked by years of difficult decisions. "Report," she said simply as she entered. James played the message again. The room fell silent when it finished. "The Concord has always been friendly to us, even when other species won't come near Earth," Walker noted, studying the data on the main screen. "And the Void Marauders have attacked our outer colonies twice in the past year. Standard response would be to send a diplomatic vessel with military escort," suggested Colonel Harris, a thin man who headed the Strategic Response Division. "We could negotiate." "Negotiate with pirates?" interrupted Commander Rodriguez, head of Special Operations. "The Marauders only respect strength. They'll see diplomacy as weakness." Walker looked at the star map showing the coordinates. "The nearest patrol ship would take 5 days to reach them. Too long." The room erupted in suggestions and arguments. James watched as Admiral Walker's face grew more thoughtful, her eyes narrowing as she considered options. "Silence," she finally said, and the room immediately quieted. "There is one ship in range, one that could reach them in less than 2 days." A heavy silence fell over the room as everyone realized which ship she meant. "You can't be serious," Colonel Harris said. "The Wolf is a last resort battleship. It's never been used for a rescue mission." "The Wolf was designed for high-risk engagements," Walker replied calmly. "Its crew is composed entirely of Special Forces operators from Earth's most extreme environments." "But the Concord asked for non-violent intervention," Harris objected. "Sending the Wolf is like using a sledgehammer to swat a fly." Walker turned to face the room. "The Wolf isn't just powerful because of its weapon systems. It's powerful because of who crews it. 25 of the most capable humans ever to serve in our forces. People who can survive conditions that would kill even most humans." She walked to the command console and entered her authorization code. "The Marauders think they understand danger because they carry weapons and prey on weaker species. They've never faced real Deathworlders." Walker's voice was steady. "Sometimes, the best way to avoid violence is to show what you're capable of, so you don't have to demonstrate it." She pressed the final confirmation button. "Send the Wolf." Across the solar system, in Earth's orbital military dock, alert signals blared throughout a sleek, dark ship. Unlike the bulky vessels that made up most of Earth's fleet, The Wolf was built for speed and stealth. Its black hull absorbed light rather than reflecting it, making it almost invisible against the backdrop of space. On the bridge, Commander Alex Miller, known to his crew as Stone, received the mission brief. He read it twice, his weathered face showing no emotion. "Captain to all crew," he announced over the ship's communication system. "Mission alert. Prepare for immediate deployment briefing in 10 minutes. Around the ship, 24 men and women dropped what they were doing and moved with practiced efficiency. They didn't ask questions or waste time. Each had survived conditions that would kill ordinary humans. Each had been chosen for this crew because they represented the best, or worst, depending on who you asked, of what humanity could be. In the engine room, Chief Engineer Ben checked the matter-antimatter containment systems. He had grown up in the radioactive zones of old Earth, where his body had adapted to radiation levels that would kill most humans in days. In the medical bay, Dr. Lisa prepared emergency supplies. Before joining the military, she had worked in disease outbreak zones where most medical personnel refused to go without heavy protection suits. She handled deadly pathogens with the casual ease of someone sorting mail. In the armory, Weapons Officer Rita inventoried the ship's arsenal. Raised in the Australian outback, she could identify and handle hundreds of toxic creatures with her bare hands. Her knowledge of poisons and venoms made her equally adept at treating and causing harm. 10 minutes later, they gathered on the bridge. Commander Miller stood before them, his 6'4" frame solid as the rock his nickname suggested. "We've received distress call from a Stellar Concord research vessel," he explained, displaying the alien coordinates on the main screen. "They've been captured by Void Marauders and have requested our help." "Marauders," spat Navigation Officer Thomas, who had spent his early years diving in Earth's deepest and most dangerous ocean trenches. "Cowards who only attack when they outnumber their targets 5-1. Miller nodded. "The Concord ship carries scientists and diplomats. No weapons, no defense systems. They've specifically requested non-violent intervention if possible." A few crew members exchanged glances. "That's not really our specialty, Commander," Rita said, voicing what everyone was thinking. "No," Miller agreed, a slight smile appearing on his face. "But Admiral Walker chose us for a reason. The Concord doesn't need us to fight the Marauders. They need us to scare them into surrender." He enlarged the image of the pirate vessel on the screen. "And there's nothing more frightening in this galaxy than humans who decide to show exactly why we come from a death world." The Wolf's engines roared to life, pushing the ship away from Earth at speeds that would crush the bones of softer species. The mission had begun. The Wolf moved through space at incredible speed. Inside the ship, Commander Alex Miller stood at the center of the bridge, watching his crew prepare for their mission. "ETA to target?" he asked. Navigation Officer Thomas checked his screens. 38 hours, Commander. We're pushing the engines to their limits." Miller nodded. The Wolf was the fastest ship in Earth's fleet, but even at top speed, the journey would take over a day. Time enough to prepare his unusual team for an unusual mission. "All senior officers to the briefing room," Miller ordered. "Time to make a plan." The briefing room was simple, with a large table surrounded by chairs. Miller watched as his team filed in and took their seats. They were a strange group, nothing like the neat uniformed crews of standard military vessels. Each person carried the marks of their unique backgrounds. Tactical Officer Rita arrived first, her arms covered with scars from countless encounters with dangerous creatures. Next came Dr. Lisa, whose calm eyes had seen horrors in disease zones that would make most soldiers sick. Chief Engineer Ben entered, his skin slightly gray from years of radiation exposure. Navigation Officer Thomas followed, his powerful shoulders built by swimming in crushing deep-sea pressures. Security Chief Mike was last, a man who had grown up in the frozen wastelands where temperatures killed unprotected humans in minutes. 5 officers, 5 specialists in survival, and this was just the leadership team. The rest of the crew was equally impressive and equally dangerous. "Let's be clear about our mission," Miller began. "The Stellar Concord has requested our help, but they've asked for non-violent intervention if possible. This isn't our usual approach." Rita laughed. We're not exactly known for gentle solutions, Commander. True, Miller agreed. But this is why Admiral Walker chose us. The Void Marauders have never faced true Deathworlders before. He activated the room's display, showing an image of the Marauder vessel. It was 3 times larger than the Wolf, with heavy weapons visible on its hull. The Marauders prey on peaceful species because they're easy targets, Miller explained. They've never fought humans in close quarters. They've never seen what we can do. Dr. Lisa studied the image. What about the hostages? The Concord species is physically fragile. Their bodies can't handle stress or trauma like ours. That's why we'll focus on psychological impact rather than direct combat, Miller replied. We want the Marauders to surrender without a fight. Security Chief Mike looked skeptical. Pirates don't usually surrender. They will when they realize what they're facing, Miller said with quiet confidence. Rita, what can you tell us about Marauder biology? Rita touched her tablet, bringing up information on the main screen. The dominant species in the Void Marauders is Krell. They evolved on a mid-gravity world with stable climate and few predators. They have natural armor and strength, but several critical weaknesses. The screen showed a diagram of a reptilian, humanoid with thick scaled skin. First, they cannot regulate body temperature well. Environments above 30 degrees Celsius or below 10 degrees cause them severe discomfort. Second, their respiratory system is inefficient. They require high oxygen levels and clean air. Third, their sensory organs are sensitive. Loud noises and bright lights can incapacitate them. Miller nodded. And we're designed to survive much worse conditions than what would cripple them. He turned to his engineer. Ben, can you modify our boarding suits to monitor and display our vital signs? Ben considered this. Yes, but why? Because I want the Marauders to see exactly what we can endure, Miller explained. I want them to watch as we walk through environments that would kill them, with our heart rates barely changing. Understanding dawned on the crew's faces. Psychological warfare, Mike said with appreciation. We don't need to hurt them. We just need to terrify them. Exactly, Miller confirmed. The most dangerous weapon on this ship isn't in the armory. It's us, what we are, what Earth made us. For the next several hours, the crew prepared. Ben modified their tactical gear to include external vital sign displays. Dr. Lisa prepared medical kits not just for treating their own team, but also for helping injured Marauders. Rita studied the layout of the pirate vessel, identifying environmental controls that could be altered to create discomfort for the Krell without harming the conquered hostages. As the officers returned to their stations, Miller stopped Rita. I need 5 volunteers for the boarding party, our best survivors. Rita smiled. I volunteer, of course. I thought you might, Miller said. Choose 4 others, people who can demonstrate exactly why humans are classified as Deathworlders. Several hours later, Miller addressed the entire crew over the ship's communication system. In 20 hours, we will intercept the Marauder vessel, he began. Our mission is to rescue the Concord scientists and diplomats without harming them. The Concord has specifically requested minimal violence if possible. He paused, knowing his next words needed to be clear. This does not mean we will be gentle with the Marauders. We will show them exactly what humans are capable of. We will demonstrate why Earth is classified as a death world. We will make them understand that the only reason they survive our encounter is because we choose to let them live. Throughout the ship, the crew listened with growing excitement. They were tired of being feared from a distance, of being avoided by species who had never met them. This was their chance to show the galaxy what humans truly were. Rest well, Miller concluded. Tomorrow we teach the Void Marauders why the galaxy fears Deathworlders. In his private quarters, Miller reviewed the mission details one last view. Time. The Concord vessel carried 32 scientists and diplomats. The Marauder ship likely held at least 100 pirates. The odds seemed poor, but Miller knew numbers didn't tell the whole story. A knock at his door interrupted his thoughts. Enter, he called. Dr. Lisa stepped in carrying a small case. I've prepared specialized stimulants for the boarding party, she said. They'll allow our team to function at peak performance in toxic environments. Miller nodded. Side effects? Increased heart rate, heightened pain tolerance, and temporary suppression of fear response, Lisa replied. Nothing dangerous for us, but the external vital sign displays will show readings that would indicate severe distress in any other species. Perfect, Miller said. The marauders will think we're in agony but functioning normally. There's something else, Lisa added, her expression serious. I've been studying the Concord biology. They communicate partially through biochemical signals. They can literally sense fear and aggression in other species. Miller understood the implication immediately, so when they see us facing down the marauders without fear, they'll know we're different, Lisa confirmed. They'll understand what we are in a way their conscious minds might never grasp. The ship's alert system suddenly activated. Thomas's voice came over the communication system. Commander to the bridge. We've detected another vessel near the marauder ship. Miller moved quickly with Lisa following. On the bridge, Thomas pointed to a small blip on the scanners. It's not showing up on regular scans, Thomas explained. I only caught it because I was running a thermal sweep of the area. Miller studied the readings. Another marauder ship? I don't think so, Thomas replied. It's too small and it's using some kind of advanced cloaking technology. My guess is it's observing the marauders. Another rescue attempt? Lisa suggested. Miller shook his head. No. If it was Coalition or Concord, they would have informed Earth Command. Should we alter our approach? Thomas asked. Miller thought for a moment. No. Maintain course and speed. But keep tracking that ship. I want to know if it makes any moves. As Thomas returned to his station, Miller stared at the mysterious blip. The mission had just become more complicated. Not only did they need to rescue the hostages and intimidate the marauders, but now they had an unknown observer. Whoever they are, Miller said quietly. They're about to get an education in what happens when you corner Deathworlders. The Wolf continued its relentless journey through space, carrying its dangerous crew toward their target. In 20 hours, the Void Marauders would learn why the galaxy feared humans, and why that fear was entirely justified. The Wolf dropped out of high-speed travel with perfect precision, appearing in the shadow of a small moon. From this position, the crew could observe the Marauder vessel without being detected. Magnify, Commander Miller ordered. The main screen zoomed in on the pirate ship. It was massive, a cobbled-together monster of stolen parts and salvage technology. Several smaller ships hovered nearby, acting as guards. Life signs? Miller asked. Dr. Lisa checked her readings. 143 Krell life forms on the main ship, 27 in each of the smaller vessels, and... She paused, adjusting her scanner. 32 weaker signals that match Concord biology. They're being held in the central section, security. Chief Mike studied the tactical display. Those escort ships are positioned to intercept any approach. Standard defensive formation. Miller nodded. They're expecting a conventional rescue attempt. Multiple ships, negotiation, maybe a small strike team. A slight smile crossed his face. They're not expecting us. Rita entered the bridge, now dressed, in the modified boarding gear. The suit was minimal by most standards. Light body armor with attached monitors displaying vital signs. No helmet, just a small breathing apparatus. Boarding team is ready, Commander, she reported. Final gear check complete. Miller turned to his crew. Everyone know the plan? They all nodded. Then let's begin. Thomas, take us in. Full stealth mode. The Wolf moved silently through space, its black hull absorbing light and its engines running in special quiet mode. It approached from below the plane of the Marauder formation, where sensor coverage was weakest. Communications range in 30 seconds, the communications officer reported. Miller straightened his uniform. Put me through to them as soon as we're in range, and activate all external cameras. I want them to see us clearly. The Wolf glided closer to the massive pirate vessel, still undetected. Communications range achieved, came the report. Open channel, Miller ordered. Visual and audio. The main screen split, showing the Wolf's approach from an external camera on one side. The other side remained blank as they waited for the Marauders to respond. "Attention, Void Marauder vessel," Miller spoke clearly. "This is Commander Alexander Miller of the United Earth Command Ship Wolf. We are responding to a distress call from the Stellar Concord research vessel you are currently holding. Release your captives immediately." For several seconds there was no response. Then the blank side of the screen flickered to life, showing the bridge of the Marauder ship. At its center stood a large reptilian being, scales gleaming under harsh lights, yellow eyes narrowed in surprise. "Humans?" the Krell captain hissed, sharp teeth visible as he spoke. "One small ship? Coming alone?" He let out a barking laugh that was echoed by his bridge crew. "You have courage, I admit, but foolishness will get you killed very painfully." Miller remained expressionless. "Captain Drex of the Void Marauders, your reputation precedes you. I'll say this once more. Release the Concord scientists and diplomats and we'll allow you to leave peacefully." Drex's yellow eyes widened slightly at hearing his name, but his surprise quickly turned to amusement. "You know my name?" "I'm flattered," he said mockingly. "But you should also know that I command 5 ships and nearly 300 warriors. You have... what? One small vessel, with perhaps 25 humans?" He leaned closer to his screen. "Leave now, or join our collection. I've never owned human slaves before. It would be... interesting." Miller nodded slightly as if accepting the decision. "Chief Engineer, activate ramming protocols." On the split screen, the Marauders could be seen suddenly tensing, some even laughing at what seemed like a suicidal order. "Thomas, full speed. Target the gap between the 2 left escort vessels." Without warning, the Wolf accelerated to attack speed. The force of the sudden movement would have killed most species, crushing them under the pressure. Inside the Wolf, the crew barely noticed, their bodies long accustomed to extreme forces. On the screen, Drex's expression changed from amusement to confusion. "What are you?" His words were cut off as the Wolf slammed through the defensive perimeter, deliberately clipping one of the escort ships. The smaller vessel spun away, damaged but not destroyed. The impact should have triggered emergency protocols on the Wolf, but the ship continued operating perfectly. Alarms blared throughout the bridge, but Miller calmly turned them off. "Damage. Report?" he asked, his voice steady. "Minor hull breach in Section 4, Ben reported from engineering. Already sealed. All systems functional." On the split screen, chaos had erupted on the Marauder bridge. The artificial gravity had fluctuated from the impact, sending several crew members flying. Emergency lights flashed and warning sirens wailed. "Boarding party deploy," Miller ordered calmly. Rita and 4 other crew members moved quickly to the airlock. They carried minimal equipment, small packs with special tools, basic weapons they likely wouldn't use, and the medical kits Dr. Lisa had prepared. Their vital sign monitors were activated, displaying numbers that would indicate severe stress in any normal being, but were merely elevated for humans from Earth. The Wolf positioned itself directly against the Marauder ship's hull, magnetic clamps engaging to create a stable connection. The boarding team entered the airlock as engineering prepared to breach the pirate vessel's outer wall. "Remember," Rita told her team, "we're not here to kill. We're here to terrify." The breach was quick and precise. A section of the Marauder, hull peeled away, exposing the interior to space. Emergency force fields activated immediately on both ships, preventing catastrophic decompression. Rita stepped through first, her team following. They immediately faced their first challenge. The atmosphere inside the Marauder ship was toxic to humans, high in sulfur compounds and low in oxygen. The temperature was nearly freezing, and the gravity almost double Earth standard. The boarding team activated their breathing apparatus but wore no protective suits. Their skin was exposed to the toxic air, the freezing temperature, and the crushing gravity. Inside the corridor, 3 Krell guards had responded to the breach. They wore full environmental armor and carried heavy weapons, clearly expecting a conventional boarding team in full spacesuits. What they saw instead froze them in place. 5 humans walked calmly through conditions that should have killed them instantly. Their exposed skin reddened slightly from the toxic atmosphere, but they showed no signs of distress. The monitors, on their gear, displayed vital signs that would indicate agony in any Krell, yet the humans moved with easy confidence. What are you?" one guard stammered, his weapon wavering. Rita smiled, a predator's expression. "We're from Earth." The guards opened fire. Energy beams struck the walls as the humans moved with surprising speed despite the high gravity. Rita ducked under a shot and closed the distance to the first guard. She grabbed his weapon arm and twisted. Not enough to break it, but enough to demonstrate her strength in the crushing gravity that should have weakened her. The guard howled in surprise and pain, dropping his weapon. The other boarding team members similarly disarmed the remaining guards without using their own weapons. Within moments, all 3 Krell were disarmed and restrained with simple zip ties. "Take us to your holding cells," Rita ordered the lead guard, "where the Concord scientists are kept." "The air will kill you before you get there," the guard said, still unable to believe what he was seeing. "And security will stop you." Rita checked her vital sign monitor, showing it to the guard. "We've been breathing your air for 3 minutes. Now, according to your biology standards, we should already be dead." She leaned closer. "Your security can't stop what they can't understand." As they moved deeper into the ship, alarms blared throughout the vessel. The boarding team encountered more guards, but word had already begun to spread. The humans weren't using weapons. They didn't need to. In a side corridor, a desperate Krell warrior ambushed the group, driving a poisoned blade into Rita's shoulder. She grunted in pain, then calmly pulled out the knife and examined it. "Interesting compound," she noted, pocketing the blade. "Our biochemists will want to study this." She then continued walking, the wound already beginning to clot thanks to the enhanced healing factors all Earth humans possessed. The Krell attacker backed away in horror, then turned and ran. On the Wolf's Bridge, Miller watched the boarding team's progress through their body cameras. Everything was proceeding according to plan. The Marauders were beginning to understand what they were facing. Not just enemies with weapons, but creatures who could survive in environments that should kill them. "Commander," communications called out, "we're receiving a transmission from the mysterious vessel we detected earlier." Miller raised an eyebrow. "Put it through." The screen changed to show a being unlike any the crew had seen before. Neither human nor Krell nor Concord. The alien observed Miller with multiple eyes that blinked in sequence. "Most fascinating approach, Commander Miller," the alien said in perfect English. "We have been studying the Void Marauders for some time, but your demonstration is quite educational." Miller kept his expression neutral. "And you are?" "An interested observer," the alien replied. "Please continue. The galaxy will be very interested in the outcome of this encounter." As the transmission ended, Miller realized their mission had just become something much bigger than a simple rescue operation. They were now performing on a galactic stage. The boarding team moved deeper into the Marauder ship, following the frightened Krell guard who had surrendered. The toxic atmosphere continued to irritate their skin, turning it red, but the humans showed no signs of serious distress. Their breathing apparatus filtered just enough oxygen to keep them functioning, though any non-death worlder would have needed a full environmental suit. Rita checked the ship layout on her small wrist display. "The holding cells should be 2 levels down," she said. "We need to find a lift or stairs." The Krell guard pointed shakily down a side corridor. "Lift tube there, but Central Command will have locked it down by now." One of Rita's team, a tall man named Jack who had grown up in Earth's harshest desert regions, smiled. "Then we'll take the maintenance shafts." The guard's eyes widened. "The maintenance shafts have no life support, and they're half-sized." "Perfect," Rita replied. She turned to her team. "Jack, lead the way." They found the maintenance access panel and pulled it open. Inside was a narrow vertical shaft with ladder rungs built for smaller maintenance robots, not humanoid bodies. The space was dark, filled with pipes releasing steam and noxious gases with temperature warnings posted in Krell language. "You first," Rita told the guard who shook his head in terror. "I can't go in there without a suit." The heat in the lower sections will cook me alive. Jack shrugged and entered the shaft first. His large frame barely fit, but he moved with surprising grace, descending quickly. The other team members followed, leaving Rita with the guard. "Wait here," she ordered him. "Try to run, and we'll find you." Then she too disappeared into the shaft. The maintenance tunnel grew hotter as they descended. Warning gauges on the wall showed temperatures that would cause severe burns to Krell's skin. The humans' vital sign monitors beeped more rapidly as their core temperatures rose, but they continued downward. On the Wolf's Bridge, Commander Miller watched their progress through body cameras. Dr. Lisa stood beside him, monitoring the team's vital signs on her medical tablet. "They're approaching their limits," she noted. "Body temperatures rising beyond safe levels." Miller nodded. "How long can they last?" "In those conditions? Another 20 minutes before risk of permanent damage." She paused. A Krell would be dead in under 2 minutes. Miller switched his view to the ship's external cameras. Several Marauder crew members had gathered near the breach point, wearing full environmental suits and carrying cutting tools. They were attempting to detach the Wolf from their hull. "Engineering," Miller called. "Status report on our uninvited guests." "They're trying to cut through the magnetic locks," Ben replied from engineering. "Should I stop them?" "No," Miller decided. "Let them work, but activate external temperature controls. I want our hull hot enough to be uncomfortable through their suits." The Wolf's external hull began to heat up, glowing slightly red where it connected to the Marauder ship. On the camera feed, the Krell workers could be seen backing away, their suits not designed for such extreme heat. Inside the maintenance shaft, Rita's team reached the lower level. Jack pushed open an access panel and peered out into a corridor. "Clear," he whispered, "but I can hear guards nearby." The team squeezed through the opening, their skin now covered with sweat and minor burns from the hot pipes. To any observer, they looked like they had just crawled through hell and survived. They moved quietly down the corridor toward the holding cells. Around a corner, 5 Krell guards stood at attention outside a heavy door. They were heavily armed and clearly nervous. Rita signaled her team to hold position while she considered options. Before she could decide, the ship's communication system activated. Captain Drex's voice echoed through the corridors. "Attention, human boarders. You have penetrated our outer defenses through sheer insanity. I am impressed. But this has gone far enough. Return to your vessel immediately, or we will execute one conquered hostage every 5 minutes." Rita looked at her team. They had expected this threat. It was time for the next phase of their plan. "Activate," she said into her communicator. On the Wolf, Miller received Rita's signal. "Execute Phase 2, he ordered. Throughout the Marauder vessel, the environmental systems suddenly went haywire. The ship's temperature controls failed, some sections becoming freezing cold while others heated up to unbearable levels. The already toxic air became thicker with pollutants as filtration systems reversed. Gravity fluctuated wildly in different sections. In the corridor outside the holding cells, the Krell guards staggered as the gravity increased to 3 times normal. The temperature plummeted, making their cold-blooded bodies sluggish. They struggled to remain standing, their weapons suddenly too heavy to hold properly. Rita and her team walked calmly into view. In the increased gravity, the humans moved with effort but determination. Their bodies, evolved on a heavy world, could handle the strain. "What are you?" one guard gasped, his scaled skin already developing frost. Rita's team didn't bother fighting. They simply walked past the incapacitated guards and approached the door. One team member, a former safecracker named Pete, quickly bypassed the lock. The door slid open. Inside, 32 conquered beings huddled together. Their thin, luminescent bodies trembled in fear. Unlike the Krell, they weren't suffering from the environmental changes. Rita had made sure their holding area remained stable. "We're from Earth," Rita announced. "We've come to rescue you." The Concord scientists stared in wonder. One stepped forward, clearly a leader. "You're humans?" the alien asked, dark eyes wide. "Deathworlders?" Rita nodded. "United Earth Command. Special operations, we're here to take you home. But there are hundreds of marauders, the Concord leader said, and only a few of you. Numbers don't matter, Rita replied simply. We need to move quickly. Can your people walk? The Concord began to gather their few belongings while Rita's team prepared to escort them. Suddenly, ship-wide alarms activated. Again with a different tone, Captain Drex to all hands came the announcement. Prepare for battle stations, the human vessel is not alone. Repeat, the human vessel is not alone. Rita frowned, touching her communicator. Commander, what's happening? On the Wolf's Bridge, Miller watched as multiple new ships appeared on their sensors dropping out of high-speed travel near the mysterious observer's vessel. We have company, Miller replied. Several ships just arrived. Unknown configuration. The main screen showed 3 sleek vessels approaching the Marauder ship. They were unlike any design in human or known alien databases. They're hailing all ships in the area, communications reported. Put it through, Miller ordered. The screen changed to show the same multi-eyed alien they had seen earlier. Attention all vessels. This is Observer Tix of the Galactic Council Research Division. We have been monitoring this situation with great interest. The human rescue operation has provided valuable data on Deathworlder capabilities. However, the experiment must now conclude. Miller's expression hardened. Experiment. Those are people, being held hostage, not lab subjects. Indeed, the alien replied calmly. And your demonstration of human capabilities has been most educational. We will now extract the Concord scientists ourselves. No, Miller said firmly. My people are already on board. We will complete our mission. The alien's multiple eyes blinked in sequence. Fascinating response. Very well, Commander. You may proceed, but be aware that you are now participating in a formal Galactic Council assessment of Deathworlder intervention capabilities. Your actions will determine much about humanity's future standing. The transmission ended, leaving Miller stunned. What had begun as a rescue mission had somehow become a test, one that would affect how the entire galaxy viewed humanity. Commander, Security Chief Mike spoke up. If this is some kind of test, we should make sure we pass it. On our terms. Miller nodded slowly. Rita, he called through the communicator. Change of plans. We're being watched by the Galactic Council. They're treating this as some kind of test of human capabilities. So what do we do? Rita asked, her voice calm despite the revelation. Miller thought for a moment. Complete the mission as planned, but make it educational. It's time for the final demonstration. Back in the holding area, Rita turned to her team. New orders. We're going to the command center. One team member looked concerned. With the Concord scientists, they could get hurt. No, Rita replied. We'll secure them in the escape pods first. Then we're going to have a chat with Captain Drex. The Galactic Council is watching, and Commander wants us to make an impression. The team moved quickly, escorting the grateful Concord scientists toward the escape pod bay. All around them, the Marauder ship continued to experience environmental chaos. Most Krell crew members had retreated to areas with stable life support, leaving corridors empty. As they approached the escape pods, Rita's communicator beeped with a message from Miller. Remember, his voice came through clearly. We're not just rescuing hostages anymore. We're representing humanity to the galaxy. Make it count. Rita smiled grimly. Trust me, Commander. By the time we're done, no one in the galaxy will ever forget what Deathworlders are capable of. Rita and her team quickly secured the Concord scientists in the escape pods. These small vessels were designed to support life for several days, more than enough time for proper rescue ships to arrive. You'll be safe here, Rita told the Concord leader, whose name was Trell. The pods have independent life support and communication systems. Once we've finished our business with Captain Drex, we'll signal for your retrieval. Trell's luminescent skin pulsed with blue light, a sign of strong emotion among the Concord. You're not leaving with us, but your mission was to rescue us. Our mission has expanded, Rita explained. The Galactic Council is watching. We need to make sure the Marauders never threaten peaceful species again. Through violence? Trell asked, dark eyes concerned. Our request specifically asked for nonviolent intervention if possible. Rita smiled. We haven't fired a single weapon since boarding, and we don't plan to start now. She tapped the vital sign monitor on her chest. Our greatest weapon is what we are. After securing the Concorde, Rita's team made their way toward the command center. The ship's environmental systems were still in chaos, creating perfect conditions for their approach. Most corridors were either too hot, too cold, or had air too toxic for Krell to function normally. Commander, Rita called through her communicator. Concorde scientists secure in escape pods. We're proceeding to the command center. Any update on our audience? On the Wolf's Bridge, Miller watched as the Galactic Council ships maintained their position, observing but not interfering. They're still watching, he replied. All 3 vessels have their sensors focused on the Marauder ship. They're recording. Everything. Good, Rita said. Time for the final act. The command center of the Marauder vessel was large, with elevated platforms for senior officers and a central chair for Captain Drex. When Rita's team arrived at the sealed doors, they found 20 Krell guards waiting. Unlike the others they had encountered, these guards wore full environmental suits designed for extreme conditions. Their weapons were raised and ready. This won't be as easy, Jack muttered. They're prepared for us now. Rita nodded. Then we'll have to be impressive. She touched her communicator. Ben, we need a distraction at the command center. In the Wolf's engineering section, Chief Engineer Ben grinned. With pleasure. He made rapid adjustments to the ship's systems, targeting the Marauder vessel's power distribution. Throughout the pirate ship, lights flickered and died. Emergency systems activated, then failed as well. Within seconds, the entire vessel was plunged into darkness. Only the faint glow of emergency chemical lights remained. The guards outside the command center panicked as their suit systems fluctuated, their communications filled with confused chatter. Rita's team moved fast. In the darkness, they slipped between the guards, using non-lethal combat techniques to disable them quickly. Their eyes, adapted to Earth's varying light conditions, adjusted, much faster than the Krell's more specialized vision. Within moments, the 20 guards lay unconscious or restrained. Not a single shot had been fired. Jack bypassed the door controls and the command center opened. Inside, Captain Drex and his bridge crew worked frantically by emergency lighting to restore systems. Hello, Captain, Rita said calmly as her team entered. Drex spun around, yellow eyes wide with shock. How did you... He stopped when he saw his elite guards were gone. What do you want? The hostages are yours. Take them and leave. Rita walked forward, her team spreading out behind her. The bridge crew backed away, many abandoning their stations. We've already secured the conquered scientists, Rita explained. But there's something else we need to discuss. Drex reached for a weapon on his belt, but stopped when he saw Rita watching him with amusement. You've hunted peaceful species for years, Rita continued, walking slowly around the command center. You've taken advantage of those who can't fight back. You've assumed that being physically stronger than your victims made you powerful. She stopped directly in front of him. But you've never encountered true predators before. The vital sign monitors on Rita's team continued to display readings that would indicate severe distress in any Krell. Elevated heart rates, high body temperatures, stress hormones at maximum levels. Yet the humans moved and spoke as if completely comfortable. What are you going to do? Drex asked, his voice barely steady. Kill us all? Rita shook her head. No. That would be easy, but not very interesting. Instead, I'm going to tell you a story about Earth. She reached into her pack and pulled out a small container. Opening it carefully, she revealed a simple Earth insect, a fire ant. This is a common creature from our world, she explained, allowing the ant to crawl onto her hand. One bite from this tiny thing causes pain that your species would consider unbearable. To human children, it's a minor nuisance. The Krell bridge crew watched in horrified fascination. Humans evolved on a planet that would kill most sentient species within minutes, Rita continued. Our bodies can process toxins that would destroy your organs. We can survive temperature ranges that would shut down your biological functions. We can endure radiation levels that would make your cells disintegrate. She walked around the command center, letting each Krell see the fire ant on her hand. We don't want to hurt you, Rita said. But we absolutely can, without even trying. Very hard. She nodded to her team, who produced medical kits and began treating the injured Krell guards they had brought into the command center. What are they doing? Drex asked, confused. Treating your wounded, Rita explained. With medicine designed for human biology, thousands of times stronger than what your systems could handle. Our medics have to be extremely careful not to accidentally kill you with our basic painkillers. As the demonstration continued, Miller's voice came through Rita's communicator. The Galactic Council ships are moving, he reported. They're approaching the Marauder vessel. Rita nodded to her team. It's time. Captain Drex, we're leaving now. But first, you're going to make an announcement to all Void Marauders everywhere. 20 minutes later, Rita's team returned to the Wolf through the breach point. Behind them, Captain Drex's message was being transmitted to all Marauder ships throughout the sector. The Void Marauders would never again attack conquered vessels or any peaceful species. Any who violated this order would face the consequences, not from coalition forces, but from the humans of Earth. As the Wolf disengaged from the Marauder ship, the Galactic Council vessels moved closer. A transmission came through to Commander Miller. Most educational, Commander, Observer Tick said, multiple eyes blinking in sequence. The Council has never witnessed such an effective non-lethal intervention. Your species continues to surprise us. Miller stood straight on his bridge. We were just doing our job, Observer. The Concord asked for help and we provided it. Indeed, but you should know that this was more than a simple observation mission, Tix replied. For centuries, the Council has debated whether to invite Death World species into the galactic community. Many feared your kind would be too aggressive, too dangerous to integrate with peaceful civilizations. Miller understood now. This was a test. A test you passed remarkably well, Tix confirmed. You demonstrated power but also restraint. Violence was available to you, but you chose intimidation instead. Most interesting. As the transmission ended, Miller turned to his bridge crew. Set course for the rendezvous point with the Concord fleet. It's time to bring the scientists home. The Wolf moved away from the Marauder ship, which now drifted powerless but intact. The Galactic Council vessels escorted the escape pods containing the conquered scientists. In the medical bay, Dr. Lisa treated Rita's team for their various minor injuries, burns from the hot maintenance shafts, bruises from the fighting, and exposure to the toxic atmosphere. You know, Lisa said as she applied burn ointment to Rita's arm, for a mission where we weren't supposed to hurt anyone, you all managed to get pretty beat up yourselves. Rita laughed. Occupational hazard of being a Death Worlder. 2 days later, the Wolf reached the rendezvous point where a large Conquered vessel waited. The handover was brief but cordial. Trell, the Conquered leader, personally thanked Commander Miller and his crew. We requested nonviolent intervention, Trell said. You honored that request technically, but your methods were unexpected. Miller nodded. Humanity has learned that sometimes showing what we could do is more effective than actually doing it. The Galactic Coalition has always classified Earth as a dangerous place, Trell continued. Now I understand it's not the planet that's dangerous, it's that the planet created you. As the Wolf headed back toward Earth, news of their mission spread throughout nearby systems. The story grew with each retelling, how a single human ship faced down the most feared pirates in the sector without firing a shot, how the boarding party walked through toxic environments as if taking a pleasant stroll, how they treated their enemies' wounds with the same skill they used to inflict them. Admiral Walker received the mission report with satisfaction. On Earth, the Wolf's unusual crew were already preparing for their next deployment. But something had changed in the galaxy's perception of humanity. For centuries, Earth was avoided because it was classified as a death world. Now, for the first time, humans were being approached by other species, not with fear, but with cautious respect. The Concord had formally requested human protection for future scientific missions. They used to call us Death Worlders as an insult, Admiral Walker remarked to Captain James as they watched the Wolf dock. Now they're calling us when death is exactly what they're trying to avoid. In the vast expanse of space, word continued to spread. If you need protection from the most dangerous forces in the galaxy, seek help from those who survived the most dangerous world of all.